What's up, everybody? Today I wanted to do a cool video about Clubhouse BH. I actually don't know much about it, and before I did too much research, I thought it'd be really entertaining to actually record it. So this video is going to be titled something like Out of Touch Millennial Reacts to Clubhouse BH. So apparently Clubhouse BH stands for Clubhouse Beverly Hills, and it's some mansion that famous TikTok stars live in. Now, I say I'm out of touch, but I guarantee you, most of my peers, most of the fellow millennials my age that I know personally are way more out of touch than me. I have been plugged into YouTube. I follow Gary Vaynerchuk. I follow all the social media trends. I've bought YouTube courses. I guarantee you, most of the millennials are like, what? You can make money on TikTok? People make money off YouTube? There's such thing as sponsorship? Who's like a top YouTuber? Like, isn't like PewDiePie? So like they know very little about social media. So I'm telling you, I'm actually pretty plugged in, and yet even that being said, I still know I'm still flabbergasted about Clubhouse PH. Now, this isn't me trashing them or bashing them. I don't actually know much about it, but I I just thought it'd be entertaining for me to kind of like try and wrap my head around it. So basically I know enough that I know this is going to be entertaining, and then I'm going to do the research with you guys. So essentially, um, all the more power to them. But it's very interesting to see what exactly it's about. So far, all I know is that they have a mansion that they all live in, and apparently it's worth $23 million. And the only real source of good information is Google.com. Because if you go to their YouTube channel or their Instagram, there's no explanation. Their bio is useless. They don't tell you anything about exactly what it is or what they do. They just have like tags of all the members' Instagrams and stuff. So it's this mystery in a way, which is good for marketing to an extent. But if there's too much mystery, it's just like, what the heck is this thing? Especially on YouTube, their YouTube channel. If you go to the about page, it's just like no explanation. It's just vlogs of them playing in a mansion, which I think you need some explanation to do it justice. And so the only stuff I found has been through the good stuff has been through Google. In fact, I just Googled this page, and I actually am trying to do this research with you. So let's get started here. Famous TikTok stars have created a new house called the Clubhouse Beverly Hills, and apparently it's worth 23 million. I'm guessing it's more economical to lease it. I doubt it's actually worth 23 million, but if it is, it's probably, yeah. The group is currently renting the home for 50,000 per month. Okay, that's actually fairly affordable in the scheme of what they're making, because that's about what, maybe 500,000 a year, which is, it's a lot, but I'm assuming all of them together are making more than 1 million a year. So far, the members of the house include Daisy Keech, Abby Rao, Marina Moraes, Leslie Gold, Din. I haven't heard of any of these names except for Abby Rao. And she was actually a YouTuber who really didn't really get into YouTube until um, she became the girlfriend to Rice Gum, and that's a very chaotic relationship too. I think Rice Gum's always stirring up drama with someone, always getting into fights with big YouTubers. I'm kind of scared. He's uh, I just want everyone to be friendly and stuff, but like every few months he's doing you know causing a fight with someone, and it's so toxic. But she just kind of, from what I can tell from the videos I've seen, she wasn't actually a TikToker to begin with. She was actually a YouTuber and Instagrammer. And I think Rice Gum kind of pushed her up, but that's not to give him all the credit or anything. She built herself up as well. But essentially, now she's kind of taking her to her own, because I think at first she was just kind of like doing Instagram for fun, and then it started to take off. So then she transitioned to TikTok, and then she kind of networked with a lot of the big TikTok people. Her best friend is actually used to be Dan Bilzerian's uh, girlfriend, and so that's all I know. I don't know any of these other people. But then she blew up on TikTok. I think she has like 1 million or so TikTok followers. I know a bunch of like 2 or 3 of them have like 2 or 3 million followers on Instagram or TikTok. And so TikTok's really taken off for a lot of them. And you might be like, TikTok's too early to make money, but I don't know. A lot of these big people are getting sponsored by American Eagle and stuff like that. I saw the ads just the other day. So they're making a good deal. I mean, it's not nothing. Um, is I mean, this is still a lot though. I'm surprised. This is a legit place. Like, look at this place. 7 7 beds, 9 baths, a library, a movie theater, a wine cellar. I mean, why? Why a wine cellar? You don't need whoever's like, for I know for other groups, like I know there's like other groups out there where they sponsor YouTubers into a mansion, like the Clout House or whatever. There's investors behind it, which, I don't know exactly what they're investing in. I guess they get a cut of their sales or whatever, but you can be more economical with it. I mean, you can give them what they want and then cut the expense on the wine cellar. I don't know if these people know how to use a wine cellar at their age, but maybe they can. I mean, young women love to drink wine. So I mean, I would love to live here, but I think it's just too much excess for me. I mean, you're surrounded by excess. You're surrounded by all these super young people who really haven't, developed themselves. Um, but I'm trying not to judge. Maybe they can succeed. So let's see. I mean, look at this place. It is incredible. You know, this is like a luxury mansion. Like this is a place where you would expect someone who worked super hard for like 30, 40, 50 years to get to. Like we're talking like Michael Jordan working 15 hours a day, hard at his craft. Like he deserves something like this. Now the TikTokers, I can't say they deserve this. I mean, maybe they made it happen. Maybe these pictures are fake. I don't know. Let's go back to Google and see what else there is. Because that was just some random site, famouscelebrityhomes.com. You can't trust that. Maybe that's not even their house. Let's see. What is the TikTok Clubhouse? Okay, they named it something else this time. Clubhouse Beverly Hills is TikTok's next hype house. Okay, let's just read this. What is Clubhouse on TikTok? The Clubhouse is a house created by TikTok and Instagram stars Daisy Keech and Abby Rao. The house will serve as a home to many creators, as well as a place for them to collab on different projects together. So there are officially living there. What is the Clubhouse and Hype House? Oh, this will be interesting. From the very start at the group's house tours, you can already tell their mansions are very different. The Hype House has a more traditionally looking foyer. Okay, so apparently there's another house with, I guess, other influencers that may or may not be TikTokers, maybe they're YouTubers. That's called the Hype House. And now there's a Clubhouse BH. Okay, how much is the Hype House? The only estimate we have on the cost of a house is from Deseret News. You can't trust that website, who claims the house is $900 a month. That's nothing. Okay, that's, people make up information. Let's go to 17.com because I feel like that's a pretty credible website. I mean, look at this high production video. Yeah, I don't recognize any of them. But let's see. Move over Hype House. There's a new content house in town. This one is pretty freaking gorgeous. Daisy Keech announced the opening of her new house, the Clubhouse, on Instagram and YouTube today, and their TikTok account already almost has 200,000 followers, despite not having posted any videos yet. Okay, so I'm not. I want to stress that I am not bashing them or anything like that. All the love to you. If you can make that money without working 13 hours a day, I mean, that's the dream, man. If you can do it working 4 or 5 hours a day with a few dance videos and stuff like that, all the more power to you. I mean, that's a dream we can all work towards. And I doubt it's that easy. It's probably super competitive. It is super competitive to succeed on social media. And sure, some people get that advantage because they were born pretty. But still, it's a competitive market out there. And yes, some people have made it to millions of dollars, kind of slacking off. But still, I respect it, you know. I, as a content creator, know how much hustle you have to put in to create quality content sometimes. And it's not easy. And to survive for a long time, you know, it doesn't mean you're a god if you do it. I mean, you could still have personal issues, work-life balance issues. You could still be a drug addict, but it does mean that you've achieved a certain level of success, and that's not easy. So respect to you. Let's figure out what this whole thing is. Okay, so where is a clubhouse? Of course, Beverly Hills, though we don't know the exact address. Um, let's go into their Instagram account. Just so for the people who have not seen this before, they give no explanation. I think this is how I found it. I think I was on Instagram and one of these like influencers, posted Clubhouse BH in their profile, just a tag to this account with no explanation. And then I'm like, what is this thing? They live in this mansion with no explanation of what this mansion is or what the point is. But essentially, it seems to be a all women house where they kind of collab with each other and help each other grow and of course live in luxury. And I also started to see some of these TikTokers pop on TikTok. I think I've seen Charlie Jordan before. I think she's a big one. Um, and she's really pretty. And um, essentially, they just keep plugging this thing. So let's figure out what exactly this mansion is. Is it even the same mansion that we saw in the first picture? Let's get the first thing up and then see if we could compare. I don't really care if it's the same mansion. Regardless, I think it's an expensive mansion. Let's see if we can find that exact couch. I don't see it. You know, I think it might be the wrong mansion because I saw a picture of a couch here. Yeah, you see those, you know, kind of like seashell cushions here. These are not seashell. Well, hold on. Is it? Oh my gosh. Maybe it is this one. Look how there's this kind of seashell outline to it. You can't zoom in, of course, but this one in the bottom left, there's almost a seashell outline and it's kind of curved. If you look at this one, it's kind of curved in the same way with the same white seashell. Well, actually, this one doesn't curve all the way. It kind of goes straight at this end, which this one doesn't do. So I don't know. I don't know if it's the same place. It's hard to tell. Well, who cares? Well, okay, this one has, you can tell this one has floor that's kind of tiled in like a diagonal way. Oh my gosh, it is the same place. Look at that floor. It's tiled in a diagonal way. I mean, can you imagine living there at that young age? I guarantee you, if I had that level of like luxury and wealth and success at such a young age, 18, 19, 20, 21, it would go to my head. I mean, I couldn't help it. I know it would have gone to my head. I would have become slightly arrogant, probably more than slightly arrogant. I'd be fairly kind of like, oh, I'm better than everyone. Like I'm just killing it. So you have to be careful. You really have to be careful. Um, and I don't know these people. From what I've seen, I think I've seen like one or two videos. They seem like pretty chill people. Like, but I don't know. Like, it's hard to tell. Let's watch a little bit of this video. Are these actually members, Ariana or I don't see Ariana in this group. I don't even know if this is the same Clubhouse BH. It might be. Ariana. I don't see an Ariana here. Okay, so maybe that as unrelated. Maybe these are different members to a different clubhouse. I just caught that last name. Wait, she did say Daisy at the beginning, right? So maybe these are the members. I just don't want to watch a video that has nothing to do with this Clubhouse BH that they're just advertising. Okay, that's actually her. Daisy Keach, I believe, is one of the members. Yep, Daisy Keach is a TikToker, fitness influencer, Instagram model, and YouTuber. They always have like the same like style. It's like blonde hair, slim profile. That's just, I guess that's more of a, well, this one, um, I wouldn't say slim, curvy. Um, and okay, this one has blue hair, but that's more of a that's more of a reflection of the market demand than them. That's just what pops on Instagram or TikTok. Leslie Hannah Bell is a TikTok star as well as an Instagram model. Good for these girls. I mean, they are killing it. Obviously, they know they're pretty. They know that they are. I mean, this is the dude. I'm like, okay, respect to you, Chase Keith. You know, I don't see him as a handsome guy. I see him as average, and that's not a knock. I think that's a compliment because if you can succeed to that level, 1.1 million followers, looking average as you do, you must have something that's even more valuable than prettiness: intelligence, hard work, networking skills, charisma. I don't know what it is, but you got something, right? Chase Keith. Okay, okay. So this is a guy. He's got some. He's definitely showing off the hype. I mean, I feel like these are. I think a lot of TikTok stars and influencers. It's so easy to get a big head. If anyone says something bad about them, or something. If anything, is there any indication that there's something like subpar about them, like they'll disagree, like they'll get offended or they'll disagree because they think they're so much better than everyone. But um, I don't know this guy. I hope he's. Let's play a video, see what he's like. This is a very common TikTok sound. Okay, that that one right there. First off, that is one of the most common TikTok sounds out there. Like everyone did a song to that. Um, He's doing something right because the dance. I mean, I've done a lot of TikTok dances, and that's one of the most simple ones out there. So something's happening right. I don't think it's the dancing per se, because Charlie D'Amelio, she can dance. They're doing very basic dance here that anyone can emulate. Um, so I think based on just this, I could be wrong, but it's a combination not so much of the dancing or the talent, but it's a combination of the beauty, the collaborations. Uh, it's a marketing thing. He has some type of marketing skill that he's leveraging. He probably knows the TikTok algorithm better because um, dancing alone, song alone. I mean, there's a million of these. What he's doing right is collabing with these two girls. Um, as far as the photos here, nothing spectacular in compared to the straight up professional photographers you see on Instagram. I mean, um, and if he ever sees this and he reacts in a way where he's offended, then um, that's that's more of an indication on him of arrogance, because that's really not a knock on you, dude. It's more of a compliment in a way. It's like these are pretty ordinary pictures, and I've seen some. And if you and you can't deny that if you look at any like super um, really good professional photographer on Instagram. So you're doing something right to get 1.1 million followers despite all these other average things. And you could probably increase all those other things as well, your dancing skills and stuff. Uh, Kinsey, of course, pretty girls, it works really well. Um, and even pretty girls, I mean, you got to respect them because there's a lot of them in the world. And not all of them even have 5,000 followers on Instagram. It's more of a marketing thing than you think. I guarantee you. There are so many pretty girls who, you know, are, in my opinion, much prettier than the ones with 1 million, 2 million followers. But they do not know how to market themselves, use the hashtags, collab, post consistently, post with the right angles and the right exposure on the camera and everything. All those things combined, that's what separates the people who really want to go the distance and those who want to but don't. Um, let's check out the Clubhouse BH YouTube channel now. While that's loading, I got to check out their Instagram one more time. The photos here, I can just tell off the bat. Some are not professionally done. They are casually done. Some may have even been taken off a phone. And that's not a knock, it's a observation once again. It's a observation of kind of, okay, they're able to achieve the level they are while still doing it kind of with a bootstrapped method. So that's very interesting. If we were to go to, let's say, Charlie Jordan, this is the one. Um, this is the one I know about. It won't take me there. You have to be logged in. Okay, so here's Clubhouse BH on YouTube, and they only have 80,000 followers, 79. And I'm not saying that as a knock again. I'm saying that as an observation in comparison to people with millions of subscribers. So I'm more so confused as to how are they able to afford this ridiculous mansion with, they're not making much income off this. Do they have merch? Do they have a business inquiry email where they're selling sponsorships? I don't think so. I don't think so. Um, they've only gotten 3 million views so far, so they're building. This is just brand new for them. You know what my guess is? I think this house is not something that is seen as a, like, profit center yet. I think it was literally started by two of the influencer stars potentially, and they're just like, you know what, we're already making a good deal of money from the sponsorships we get on Instagram and TikTok. Let's just start this house. We'll get a bunch of other people we know who are killing it individually to chip in. And then, we'll grow this brand because we've seen other people do it. Apparently, there's something called a hype house. I know there's the clout house before that. And I know there's FaZe has a house too. FaZe is a gaming house with all the FaZe clan members. So let's just check these out because I don't know much about them either. What is the Hype House? The Hype House is the name of a collective TikTok personalities based in Los Angeles, as well as the name of the Spanish style house. Oh, this is the big one. This is the one with Charlie D'Amelio and her sister. So those two combined have over 100 million followers on TikTok. Um, so, I've been seeing a lot of TikToks and videos about the Hype House. All I could think was, apparently they're not scared of COVID-19 because all I see are constant videos of them, hugging each other, hanging out together, a dozen, 2 dozen TikTokers all in the same house. I'm like, isn't this? I've been seeing these videos since March. Like, I guess you all quarantined together, but I really don't know too much about it. Let's see what it has to say. The collective formed in December 2019 and includes around 20 rising or established Gen Z influencers of TikTok. Most of its funding came from Daisy Keech, Chase Hudson, Thomas Petru, Alex Warren, and Cover Annan. Wait, isn't Daisy Keech the girl here? So is Daisy Keech like straddling two houses expenses, two mansions worth of expensive? She must be making so much money to do that. Well, this is hearsay. What's the source of this? Maybe she's not. It's just, okay, this is based on an article called Founders Feud at Hype House Gets Nasty. An armed guard, a new lawsuit. Man, you can't even believe this, like, celebrity gossip. Half the time they just make it up for views. But let's check it out real quick. And I am personally one to kind of stay away from celebrity gossip and drama. So this is just peculiar to me. I don't like drama. I wish everyone was just happy and friendly. Um, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but founders feud at Hype House. So these are all or this is one member, or that's Daisy Keech, is in a fight over who controls Hype House. When TikToker Daisy Keech went to collect her few belongings from the mansion she briefly called home, she did so flanked by an armed security guard. The early March expedition was all but a definitive end to her time at Hype House. The name given to both the I'm trying to fight for my rights, she said, standing in the villa. The business has been completely stripped away from me, and I've kept my mouth shut the entire time. Not long after, Keech filed suit in federal courts against two of her co-founders yesterday morning. Escalating the tension was now the most bitter breakup to hit the rapidly growing. Okay, so she moved from the Hype House to the Clubhouse BH after a feud, after filing a federal suit at the age of 20. This is not the first time I've heard something like this. And this is why I personally, having been on YouTube for over 15 years and seen a lot of drama, like Just Kidding Films back like 7 years ago, when it had some falling out because one of their interns who was in a lot of their skits was mad because she wasn't getting paid, and she saw the founders making a lot of money, even though they actually weren't, but she believed they were. They got into this huge fight. They threatened lawsuits. It was a huge falling out. I mean, I just recommend, if I could help one person watching this out there who may have the potential or is moving towards this type of level of fame and wealth, to just kind of, maybe go to college and kind of mature a bit before you really go out on your own at 18 or 17, because you're still a child at that time. You're still immature in many ways and not developed. And this is why these things happen, like greed, immaturity, not really reading any business books or business history and realizing and making the same mistakes that have been repeated over time, not filing and creating a contract and reading it thoroughly, like FouseyTube didn't do, which cost him a lot of money when he filed with this kind of phony YouTube network. But who knows if this is true? Who's the reporter? Abraham Brown, business section. Did he interview these people, or was he just kind of figuring out on his own as well? Keech is suing two of her Hype House co-founders, alleging that they struck deals without her, exiled her, and tried to position themselves as the only founders of Hype House. Through their talent agency, declined to comment for this story. Jeez. I mean, when you're like 19, 20, I mean, all sorts of murky shit happens, especially when you're working with people who aren't 100% ethical, or, they get their egos involved, they're super young, and then they start to push you out, or, nothing was set in stone on paper in a contract, and then it just gets really murky, and then when there's money involved, it just gets messy. I mean, you guys are 20 years old, man. But, pros and cons, man. If you're asking what a TikTok celeb is, you are what a TikToker would call one of the olds. This is coming from a guy who looks like he's 40 years old. Not to knock you, dude, Abraham Brown. But one of the olds. I mean, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. He's making a joke. He's not trying to. Okay, sorry about that. I thought he was kind of like knocking other people, but he's actually just kind of making a self-deprecating joke there. Okay, so I'm not going to read the rest of this, but apparently, yeah, they got into a huge fight. but now the Hype House has some really big members. I mean, I see Charlie and Dixie D'Amelio and Addison Rae. That's 160 million followers right there. Then there's, I think that's Daisy Keach, or what's her name, Charlie Jordan, and that gets, I mean, this is 200 million followers in one TikTok, and that's got, I think the one benefit of starting now versus 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 15 years ago is that it's no longer this brand new open frontier thing. It may still seem so to a lot of these influencers, but it's not. And that's a huge benefit because you get to see, if you choose to spend the time, you get to see the history, the mistakes that people have made before you. Plenty of young influencers, especially on YouTube, have moved out to LA early on, and they've made these mistakes, these battles and stuff. And so I don't know, it's such a crazy move to make, but these young stars have literally, like, while they're still in high school, right before college, many of them have chosen to move into this house and become full-time TikTokers. I mean, that's a big move, and sometimes it pays off. Ryan Higa, it paid off for him. He chose to skip college, but it's a very interesting move, and you have to have some good values in place before that, and some of that just comes naturally. If you have the right people around you to make the right choices. Ryan Higa, great example, huge role model. I mean, nothing but clean stuff. Avoided all the drama for all these years. Stayed on top of YouTube at 20 million subscribers now. I mean, but he's like a model example. There's a lot of others. Train wreck, train wreck. So we'll see what happens. That's a bold move. Perhaps they made the right move. The group eventually reached 19 members, including Charlie and her sister Dixie, using a recruitment style that Keith describes as more like, "Oh, we vibe with you." I could totally see that. They're just DMing each other and asking. Like it's that simple. They know about each other. So let's go to their YouTube now, and you know, I'm not gonna watch the videos because it's gonna take forever. But look at their about. There's no description in their about section. It's just like, "Welcome to Clubhouse Beverly Hills." We have to figure this out on our own. I like the name now. Like they did. They definitely chose to kind of move away from the whole like clout house, hype house. Like by naming it that, it's almost kind of uh, pre-selecting or kind of influencing you to kind of have an ego in a way. Like we have so much clout, like we have so much hype, and that can affect your behavior, your mood. So this is more of like a low-key kind of thing. Like I'm guessing, with the women of this house, they probably watch Beverly Hills 90210, and they wanted something more chill like that. So almost like a social media reality show in a way. So let's just kind of see like what videos they've made here. She got a Clubhouse tattoo. I've seen videos like this before, and sometimes they're fake, and they make the whole thing seem like it's real. They give no indication it's fake. Sometimes they do that. Um, it's a little bit sad. I don't know if that's real. It could be real, but that looks like it was photoshopped on there. Um, I don't know. Daisy Keach goes off-roading. Okay, so it's kind of like vlog slash YouTube style. This one's like a spicy wing challenge. And then this one's like an awful taste test, quarantine Olympics. That's based off a TikTok family who used to do that, and that went viral. Ultimate Taco Bell challenge. Okay, so a lot of like food challenges, 20 questions. They definitely took that one from Vogue. Vogue's was it 49 questions? Um, 21 questions with Charlie Jordan, 21 questions with Isaac. I think they have something good going here, but I think the graphics have to be more consistent. They're kind of like all over the place. The colors have to have some level of consistent branding to them so we can kind of bring it all together. That's what Vogue does. but I'm seeing light blue, bright red, like a police siren, and then black and light, and then this is like a pale orange. So that has to be more consistent. I think what really they should do is they need some hot heavy hitters. Because check this out. If you Google Charlie D'Amelio, whatever she does gets like 5 million views. Like if it's a vlog that features her just like saying hi in it, 10 million views. Like look at this. My surprise room makeover, 14 million views for her 16th birthday, which happened 2 months ago. She hasn't even hit 18 yet. She's a baby. And that's not a bad thing. She has her whole life in front of her. But you want to make sure she makes, it doesn't turn into a ball of fire because, starting that young, especially with YouTube and social media, because it's kind of different from Hollywood in the sense that, in Hollywood, you oftentimes have an agent, a whole team behind you to kind of support you and your mental health. You have to choose to build that. Otherwise, it's just kind of you on your phone and maybe your parents and whoever you choose to hang around. Or if you're not really intentional about it, whoever ends up hanging around you. But look at this. She got surgery, 19 million views. So apparently she's definitely doing something right. This girl is like king, top of the top. Now this is just some clickbait that obviously is photoshopped and fake. Shocking. Charlie D'Amelio is not all that she seems. And then they photoshop some other person naked with her face. I mean, come on, man. And 163,000 people fell for it. Come on. Uh, and then Dixie released a song recently because she's more of a singer and a comedian, I guess. And that actually did pretty well. I know a lot of YouTubers who have released songs, and some of them have just tanked. But this one, I think the like ratio is pretty good. So they need to get like some heavy hitters on here. I guarantee you, if they had 21 questions with Charlie D'Amelio, boom, Clubhouse BH would not be dealing with 59,000 views. It'd be like 2 million. Potato Gun with Kinsey. I mean, these are solid videos. I mean, they're definitely going out there and doing some crazy stuff. Now it's kind of like, I guess they're in the house now and they're like playing with snakes and reacting Q&As. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out one of them. Let's do the one where I just want to see their mansion. So we're going to do the Potato Gun one since it seems to be outside. I want to see like their budget. Oh my gosh. I gotta pause it right there because it lags if I play it while I'm recording. But they bought a giant gerbil thing for themselves. I see a giant lawn with all sorts of inflatables. They got they got a good budget. Oh my gosh. Then they have like the higher definition camera. They could have destroyed that sculpture. Wow. Man, they're putting some work into this. They're buying a lot of stuff for their own entertainment, but also like this is also entertainment for the video. I'm surprised that this one did not hit. This one only got 25,000 views, and they have a freaking giant potato gun. Oh, they got a nice logo, white and black. 10 pranks a day. Wait, did Kinsey used to be Vitali's girlfriend? Is that right? See, Vitali ZDTV, if you guys don't know, he used to be a top prankster and then he got really caught up in drama and then, people were talking about his like arrests and his abuse and then his apparently he used to take steroids and it just got really messy. Who is Wait, so is his girlfriend also in the clubhouse? Because she looks very familiar. Yep, it is Kinsey. Okay, so that's very interesting. So here's another girl that okay, so Vitaly had a girlfriend at least for a while, and apparently her name was Kinsey. And Kinsey is now a member of Clubhouse BH. She has 3 million followers now, but I distinctly remember that um, she was kind of like had she was definitely on the come up because she was Vitaly's girlfriend. So he tagged her a lot, and that skyrocketed her followers. And apparently, I guess they may have broken up at some point. And so, you know, kind of similar to Abby, she kind of like decided, okay, I'm going to take this thing independent. I have enough followers now. And now she's the kind of taking it by the horns, and she's a member of Clubhouse BH. And a lot of these TikTokers don't know the backstory. So they just see her and they're just like she made it on her own. She self-made her followers. Does that even really matter though? Because at the end of the day, on some level, you get the followers, and just through shout outs alone, it's not enough. Trust me, I know that. I've seen people get huge shout outs from PewDiePie, and their followers don't grow that much. It's part of the picture, so don't call these girls kind of fame diggers or gold diggers or whatever, because it's not exactly that cut and dry. You have to have quality content. Um, People have said this all the time. People, because they've gotten shout outs or they've given shout outs, they've said like it's more like kind of like wood for your fire, but if your fire's not good, it's not going to burn. Same type of thing. So that's interesting. Just them in the car, which is whatever. And then they're at Home Depot or something buying. Wait, did they make the potato gun themselves? That's a lot of work. I thought they were like rich enough to kind of like just buy straight up buy a potato gun. But oh wow, they even like spray painted it with the Clubhouse BH thing. That's a lot of work, man. Um, then they assemble it and out of it's just PVC pipes. Look at that. So it didn't work at first. And then okay, so this is their actual mansion. Take a look at that. Let's jump back to the size of their. So they got the pool. Okay, well, I missed the shot. I missed the shot. So we got to see this potato gun go off. Honestly, I think that's pretty cool. A potato gun, anyone can make one, and it's pretty devastating if it hits. The whole potato just gets annihilated. So I'm going to wrap it up here. So now I know what Clubhouse PH is to a general degree. I mean, it's still somewhat confusing, but these people make money. They're getting sponsorship deals on Instagram, and they're getting it done. Um, so my advice, as I've mentioned before, is if you're super young, 17, 18, 16, just be careful. Find some good role models, find some good people with reference experience, history. Do some of your own research because it's all online. Just search like scandal, or just search like lawsuit YouTubers. You depending on your specific situation, search that on YouTube, and if you do some digging, you'll find some history of what's happened before, because it's probably happened before. And if you're an influencer like that, you can learn from history so you don't make the same mistakes. It's a really tough thing. Apparently there's a bunch of lawsuits and a falling out with the Hype House, which kind of sucks. Um, but that's very interesting that there's internal disputes, and you know that whole LA lifestyle. I think it's not for everyone, and um, people shouldn't be jealous if they don't have that, because it comes with pros and cons. Living such a fast-paced lifestyle, it can really screw you up in many ways. Probably there's drugs. You know, everything seems easy. Uh, but what happens in 10, 20 years from now when you don't have any marketable skills and your following starts to decline? Um, but it's so cool, and I think some people would definitely build this into a long, uh, persevering personal brand, and that's something that you just gotta you know marvel at. I think one person I love is David Dobrik, and quite frankly, he's made a lot of money just by having a lot of fun every day and recording it. I mean, it's that simple. He buys fancy cars, gives them away to people. He might do science experiments. He might blow a lot of money on a new toy at his mansion. And you could tell he's a warm-hearted guy, a caring, compassionate guy, and it all kind of blends together. And there's pros and cons to that type of lifestyle. To be able to just kind of be lazy or just kind of relax and do what you want. Not saying that they're lazy, who knows? I don't know their life, but it does seem like a pretty chill life with plenty of free time. I've seen David Dobrik playing video games often. And so, you know, with that, you have to kind of, comes with cost, because if you're not vigilant, you will get soft. Your discipline will fade. Your focus will fade. Your time management will fade. Your sleep habits will get eroded. Your kind of sense of self and others will just kind of be eroded because you just think you're so amazing. And that can cause issues. If you're not working that hard, people are going to pass you by eventually. So that's just something, that I would warn against. But overall, in the spirit of entertainment, I've learned about the Hype House, the Clubhouse BH. FaZe House, let me just read this. After taking off in the esports scene, FaZe Clan moved into two separate Hollywood Hills mansions in 2018. While the mansion dubbed the Clout House hold the members of FaZe, the others sheltered a variety of influencers such as Rice Gum and Summer Rae. So that's the one I know about. The Clout House was one, and then the FaZe House was like right next door. And that's a whole nother thing too. The FaZe House, they do well on YouTube. So I think that's what they're emulating, because I know the FaZe House YouTube channel has like 1 million+ followers, and they do like crazy stuff like that, like slip and slides and hide and seek in a $30 million mansion. Wow, so they just moved into a $30 million mansion. You've got to be kidding me. And these people have their individual YouTube accounts as well on top of the whole FaZe Clan YouTube channel, which has them all together. So it's like a double doozy collab that's just gotten them to a high level. I think the one FaZe guy I've watched the most of that I seem to like the best is that guy there, FaZe Banks. Um, one, because I think he's older, so he's more mature, he's more experienced with the scene. I think he's in his mid-30s, even though he looks fairly young. And so, he's got that maturity, um, and he's a bit more humble in certain ways, not all the time, but you get that sense just based on how he dresses sometimes. He's not too flashy with it. And then with him, he also has a really good kind of uh, there's this one video where he was just kind of really honest with it, and he's just kind of like explaining the pros and cons. So he appeared in one of Rice Gun's videos, and he was just like, I got to be honest with you. There's pros and cons to this life and getting women, because it does make some things easier, but on the other hand, you never know if they really like you for you. So it's very interesting. I'm actually going to kind of save this to watch for later, because $30 million mansion, man, that's pretty darn crazy. Um, This type of lifestyle is also very kind of over the top and kind of like spends extravagantly because that also feeds into their entertainment, which, I think it can kind of affect you in the wrong way if you never taught, financial sense and kind of financial wisdom, because then you're never told to kind of spend below your means and save your money and invest it in stuff. You're just blowing it constantly because all you see are excess. But the excess is really there just to kind of entertain people and get views. But then you're as a side influence, you're getting affected by that excess, and they're just gonna, be like, oh my gosh, mansion. Okay, I gotta watch a little bit of this Phase Clan one just to see like what the heck this mansion looks like. Dang. All right, let's skip the intro. Let's just get down into the house tour. We got to see it. Okay, they're just kind of like walking in the rooms here and there. Okay, cool. I've seen that playground before. I've seen that playground. Rice Gum and Summer Rae did like a video just playing in that playground with Phase K. I think this is cool. This is cool, but you got to live your life based on what you want to do, and that's different for everyone. Um, I just want to kind of emphasize that it's not everyone's dream is not always the same. One person can dream about a mansion, another person may dream about, you know, buying a boat and living on a yacht or something. Follow your dream, and just because, certain rich people like caviar and cigars and stuff like that doesn't mean that you have to do the same. So there you have it. There's Clubhouse BH. Um, what a peculiar, strange lifestyle for these 20 people in the world. I think it is incredibly excessive in certain ways with the mansion and stuff. It's almost flabbergasting to kind of picture how they're affording this at such a young age. That's something I never really fully figured out where their money's coming from, but I do know that a lot of these big TikTokers, one TikTok, one Instagram post from some sponsor like American Eagle, that can net you $100,000, 200,000 if you're like at the top of the charts. And I know that for sure because I listened to David Dobrik's podcast, and they had not Abby Rao, Addison Ray on, and she spilled the beans on it. So it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, like you have to be at the tip top. Um, I think this type of thing would be nice, but I don't need that to be happy. Um, it's almost like a more of like a vacation thing for me. Like, sure, I'd love to kind of visit and stay here for like a few days, but I really don't need that level of excess and wealth to be happy, and I don't think anyone else should. I know a lot of people kind of chase this, and sure, why wouldn't I or others want to be connected to these type of people? They bring you up, build you up. Everyone makes more money, but you have to be careful. You have to kind of, just you know deal with ethical, honest people. Just because they have a lot of followers or they seem initially nice, I mean, shit happens. Like, look at this 17-year-old, and they're already in a lawsuit. They're in a lawsuit. So that kind of sucks, but um, it happens. And maybe they've ended up figuring things out. You don't really know based on this article. I mean, it seems like the house was still chill enough that Charlie and Dixie joined later. So who knows exactly what happened there? Has Keach learned her lesson from the ownership battle? Maybe, maybe not. She won't comment about Clubhouse's ownership. Okay, and then with the lawsuit, Keach hopes to claim control of Hype House. I mean, that's just some crappy stuff that you have to deal with. And then like contracts, when you sign a contract from one 18-year-old to another 17-year-old, even if it's down in ink on paper, like people don't know that like that doesn't always just seal the deal. Like if they breach it, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe you have to enforce that by paying a lot of money to a lawyer to bring that person to court for a lawsuit, which of course becomes a personal matter too, because now you're like pushing them forward. You can't just say like you're breaching a contract because then they're just going to be like, whatever, until you actually file a lawsuit, which is like a whole official thing, burns bridges, and, is very expensive. So this is the actual lawsuit apparently. It's by they oh shoot, they even give their emails on here. That's probably not a good thing to do. But yeah, those are the attorneys. No one's going to email them. Um, But man, this is like an actual thing. Keach is an individual residing in the county of Los Angeles, state of California, and is a well-known creator and influencer in social media with over 3 million followers. She is one of the founders of the concept house known as the Hype House. Can you imagine like some 40-year-old attorney getting this like as a lawsuit that they had to work, and they're like trying to figure out, okay, so you're a 16-year-old but you make this much and you found a whole mansion and now you're suing this other, like, wow. I mean, I think that's kind of exciting in a way. It's fresh, it's new, but I could also find it very frustrating, you know kind of dealing with like an older guy who's just like very slow to understand it, or just like very almost even condescending, like, you're suing who and you're what age? Okay, let's see what the cause of action is here. Keach has used the Hype House mark to identify goods and services she has provided. And as such, Keach has obtained common law rights to the Hype House trademark. Okay. Third cause of action. Keach incorporates by this reference the allegations contained in paragraphs 1 through 42 above, as so fully set forth herein. Geez. First cause of action, false designation of origin. Keach incorporates by this reference the allegations contained in paragraphs. Defendants have unlawfully used the Hype House mark in a manner that is likely to cause confusion. So it seems to be more of a logo trademark issue, which, geez, that gets even. I mean, you have less of a battle there because you don't have control. I mean, a logo is just a logo, man, but you don't have control of the real estate, the property. But the property is just a property too. It's just like the expense of the mansion, the mansion. It's really the brand as a whole, like, and that you should have made that clear in the contract, like the brand as a whole, as in like percentage earnings of all the creators. Like that's something I think where the real money is to be made. But um, this is messy, man. Imagine being another 19-year-old and getting this in the mail, like a full-blown official lawsuit. You're gonna have to call your parents. Your parents are all probably also kind of like, this is over our heads. Like, first off, you get a mansion and you're that young and you fly off to Los Angeles when we're your parents. And now you're trying to explain to me that you've made all this money from social media, but now this other kid is suing you for how much money? It's a whole mess. Um, which one is Daisy Keach? Okay, so it's this one. They all kind of look alike, so it's kind of like it's kind of hard to tell. I think Daisy Keach and Charlie Jordan both look alike. I mean, they have a really cute look to them, but it's interesting that they all kind of look alike. Um, I think that's just market demand. I think a lot of people like this look. So I'm leaving Clubhouse. So it may either happen recently or she's leaving this video up to clear confusion given all the uh, people asking about it for months. So we'll go to this video and check out the publication date. And that's it for this drama. Okay, okay, so August 4th. Oh my gosh, this was recent. I'm filming this on August 6th. So this was literally 2 days ago that okay, but which clubhouse is she moving out of? Is it the Hype House? No, it's Clubhouse BH. So she's left the second house now. Okay, what's she got to say about it? Come on, what the clickbait? You're gonna do a whole wakeboard vlog before you explain why you're leaving? Okay, hopefully someone give a time mark in the comments about what happened here. Spoiler alert. She needs to focus on herself and that's why she moved out. And she's coming out with a bikini line. She didn't say when. Apparently, she also wants to become a realtor and interior designer, according to a reply I received on this comment. When TikTok houses aren't trending anymore, so all influencers are starting to move out. Yeah, I don't think it's about trending. I don't know exactly what's going on. I think it's good that like she's having some kind of building some skill on the side in case you know social media ever falls out. But I get the sense that it's more so just because she's passionate about being a realtor and interior designer. That's interesting. This is all a very interesting time. Of course, if you were so lucky enough to be one of the 20, 30 few in the world who are exposed to this wealth and this lifestyle, like who wouldn't take it? Who wouldn't take it by the thorns? Um, all I'm saying is that if I were to, I'd have to be very cautious about it. If she's moving out to find her own sanity, I understand that as well. I mean, I definitely like my peace, my alone time sometimes, my meditation. You get a lot of mental, emotional stimulus, temptation, baggage in such a fast-paced world with many young people who have not really often matured all the way yet. And so that's good for her. Um, and, I would say, I would do the best that I could, but I probably wouldn't make it out fully unscathed if I were that young. Now I'm in a better kind of setting to be able to do that. And um, I would save a bunch of the money I made. Um, it just makes more sense to do that. Okay, so there's the vlog of her wakeboarding, and then she finally gets into why she's moving out of the hype house. Let's watch 10 seconds of this. Skip ahead. Okay, so it seems like it's not so much from the mental and health side. I'm going to close out this video. But it seems like she's just more so trying to make a business move and also find out her passion. This is this typical stage in life where people are trying to find out their calling, their purpose, what really excites them. And that is so cool that she's found that, sometimes it takes into your 30s, your 40s to find that. And she's already found a keen interest in interior design, which makes a lot of sense, or in this case, real estate flipping. Um, there's definitely an aesthetic to that that's beyond me. It's too much of a hassle for me to do, but I like the end result. It looks really clean, a nice, beautiful mansion house, or just even like a small, tiny house that does that, that gets renovated. I mean, it looks really cool. So, good for her. Seems like despite all this drama apparently online, she still seems to, at least in that video, seems to have a level head. I was wondering about that because I mean, I imagine like an entire lawsuit at the age of 19 or whenever takes a toll on you. And especially with Instagram and TikTok, especially Instagram, like you don't really see this person. You see a snapshot of who they may be, but you don't never hear them talk usually. And that's a huge thing. Like their picture online and then who they are often completely different. And then YouTube videos often help with that, but a lot of these Instagram models, they don't post YouTube videos. And then when they do, like sometimes they're completely different people, and you're like, oh, I didn't expect that. Summer Rae is a great example. You see her on Instagram, you're thinking like, okay, must be some mature model with like almost like a deeper voice, very mature, um, very prima donna. And then you see her YouTube videos and her vlogs, and you find out her real personality, a very humble type of girl, actually very young, and just based on her stage in life and how she expresses herself, she still has a lot to learn about life, and she's going through that journey. And you don't learn that until you see that. So be cautious about social media, because like especially if it's just pictures or like a TikTok dance video where you don't even see them talk, you don't know jack about them. You know, like 5% of who they are. And so that's a very interesting thing. And even YouTube videos, they're oftentimes edited or cut out. So you just see like blotches of them. Or even like take this video, this uncut video of me for all this time. Although it gets closer to truth, it's just like one small aspect of me because this is one small area I'm interested in. So just be careful with social media. So that's it. Let me know your thoughts on Clubhouse BH specifically. What do you think about, the whole dynamic of uh, the whole idea of spending so much money and getting all these influence together? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it a phenomenon that you're also flabbergasted even exists, that they're making that much money to be able to do it? How does that make you feel? Do you think that's a form of that's a bad thing because it makes people jealous? Does it make you jealous or not really? So that's a lot of questions, but answer the ones that you choose to answer. Um, yeah, check it out. I think this is yet again a new world, and now we've seen some crazy stuff happening uh, with now TikTokers transitioning to YouTube and doing real well, mainly the millennials. So that's another thing. Hit that subscribe.